Right, hello, welcome everyone back to Floxmall and the final refrain. We are here with another matchup in our first round. Let's take a look. We've got Ekil123 versus Varghast. And just coordinating with the players really quick. You just missed it. Lord Judo just finished up another match over on his channel. Some crazy stuff over there, but let's take a look at what we got in this matchup. So first up, we've got Ekil. This is our Korean player, one of our Korean players. I think we have two in this one. National Archon champion. One of the very few who is bringing a DT deck. So he thought he was going to be the only one. Turns out wasn't quite, but we'll take a look at that in a second. Have both this deck and the Devil Twin. Makes it sound like it's an Archon deck, but I think that's just the Logos pod. We'll see. All right, and then we've got Varghast, one of our Reap Out members. Again, our reigning sealed world champion. But even just in how he won the sealed championship, you can see this guy knows his alliance. Swapping out pods at the last minute during the world's match to be able to win it. Varghast has a very long list of accolades here. Great player, great collection of cards and stuff too. So excited to see this one. Let's take a look at the matchup. Like we said, Ekil playing one of our few DT decks. This is a very cool deck. I think they got super unlucky with their round one matchup. So you can see this deck is all about the archiving. We've got triple theory of conjecture. We've got the archivist, double eddies, and then we've got a lot of efficiency and house cheating in the Star Alliance, and then it's got the Key Frog combo. So unlike the other DT deck, which I don't think we've actually seen play yet, I have to go back and look. This one I don't think is quite gonna do the like single turn OTK. This one seems a little bit more just like super high efficiency, really using that archivist and stuff to just really go fast. I think it's still going to be a very fast deck, but on Varghast side, you can see this Amber Skies deck is has a little bit of tech against things like the Archivist with triple clipped wings, and we've got the corner of the market in there as well. So Varghast deck also going to be very fast with 3 Amber Drakes. 2 of them are the same color, so you can't actually forge 3 keys in one turn with them, but you're also gaining so much Amber off of those, especially with the Cauterized Vitalities or the Gift of Amber. So let's take a closer look at these decks. I think while we're still waiting for the players here. So Ekil's deck, like we said, doesn't have like the United Action. So that's where other DT decks are going to be able to do sort of that single turn, play your entire deck, rule of 6 every single card. And when I say other DT decks, I mean like one basically. um, but still tons of really good value in here. Mind over matter can do some really good board clearing as well as get your archives better suited for, just doing the archivist stuff every turn. You've got your Val Jericho in there for the house cheating. You got Diplomatic Gung for the creature house cheating. Grand Alliance Councils for more board clear, biome discovery for the filtering, and then you've got Key Frog with double Chelonia. Got the Reaper So. You've got the Key Frog with is Piranha Monkeys, I think, maybe the only way to kill it in Untamed, but Double Witch of the Dawn too. Like this Untamed especially is going super fast, but you kind of have to set it up. We'll take a look at what creature control Varghast has, because I feel like this DT deck could also just like dump a lot of creatures on the board faster than you'd expect. So we'll see how that goes. Again, this is not a Tide versus Tide matchup, so those Hydra catalogers probably will activate once, if at all, and then not do much from there. And then there's Varghast deck. So we've got 2 blue Amber Drakes and a red Amber Drake. We've got Ghoul Keeping, but no Echo Fly. Double in here somewhere, though. Triple Junk Restoration and the Shard of Resurgence. So just the filtering, the efficiency, the recursion is pretty crazy here. The Equidon is kind of the interesting one. Brought in probably mostly to get that second or third Drake in there. Some interesting cards. The Fortune Reversers can turn off some problem creatures from your opponent, like putting that on Val Jericho would be pretty brutal. But I think this Dis is really where we see the things get nasty. There's no Arise, which is actually really big. So if you're able to kind of get some of those cards in the discard, you might have a chance. But we didn't see really hardly any disruption on Ekil's side, so you're not really doing too much of that. But we've got the triple clipped wings, double cauterized vitality, gift of amber with the amber drake and the dust imp. You've got the drumble in there to try and stop some keys if you go against a big burst opponent. Parabite in there as well. But I mean, this is so much about these amber drakes. There's plenty of ways to kill them too with the double de-escalations, the gift of amber. Is there something? Not sure. There's nothing in Geistoid to kill them. So those turns are going to be the ones you're hoping there's not the amber drakes coming down. Let's see. I think they're getting ready to make the game. Yep, there we go. Okay. And let's hop over to CO. Varghast making the game, so he'll be on the bottom here. All right. And that goes in. Varghast just double checking that our lobby is correct. I think we are good to go with game one here of Ekil versus Varghast. Again, Ekil's deck very cool. I think the clipped wings especially just make this. Ekil's deck is probably not going to be able to do most of what it wants to do here. But you can't play clipped wings every turn, even though there's 3 of them. It'll be really interesting to see how this goes, but I think that's going to be pretty rough for Ekil, as far as the Archivist at least, because especially since it displays the Archivist, if it's Ekil agrees with my assessment that winning 2 rounds against 3 clipped wings might be a problem for their deck, but we'll see. Welcome in, Blazing Archon and Brostoff. Good to see you here. Good to see you from the last stream, which was a very fast set of games. Some interesting stuff though. Still trying to see how those decks interact. But this one could be a little rough. Varghast deck looks pretty intense here. Okay, so a Hydro Cataloger coming down turn 1. See, there we go. Cards catch up. So we'll get a little bit of archiving off that. And that's the one thing about this deck is it's going to be archiving every turn. That is the question, Liquid Squash. If Varghast, I can't believe any Reapout people practice with Riku after last final refrain. Just no, it's not worth it. Not worth the risk here. What I was saying though is Ekil's deck can archive basically almost every turn, so it's sort of like, yes, you can get it reshuffled, but it's just going to start rebuilding those archives really fast a lot. We do see our first clipped wings here, shuffling stuff back in. Again, not really going to be purging, which I feel like purging is what you see clipped wings do a lot most of the time, but not in this matchup. Second clipped wings getting played, purging a Eureka. Pretty brutal because that's also some of the speed here. Ekil getting the biome discovery to raise the tide, but again, losing that Hydro Cataloger, so not getting any archives there. Gets some beef on the Eddie here. Sorry, my cards are so big. Can't see the power on that. Ooh, there's the Fortune Reverser, though. Going to take all of those off. And then just getting some Equidon creatures down here. Aerial Peddler, again, going to be able to possibly steal that Eddie, even though it has the Fortune Reverser now, so it's not really doing much. Selective Preservation, taking that guy out. Getting the CXO Tabor, so some more of that house cheating ready to go. But Varghast, as we kind of glossed over because they're playing fast, Varghast on check here, going to get key 1. And we see that yellow key, because again, it's got the red and blue amber drakes, so yellow key is the only one he's going to have to forge naturally. We'll see if he can start finding some of these drakes. We get the Geistoid turn, so Junk Restoration coming down, Atomic Destabilizer, Spend Demander, and in here somewhere is not haunted yet, so going to have some discards, but you might You probably don't need to go for the atomic destabilizer, although it does just get you more speed here, especially with that discard as well. But again, 3 junk restoration, so Varghast might be able to get haunted this turn without having to discard anything anyways. We'll see what happens. Atomic destabilizer on the Tabor. Looks okay, but I think you just want to kill the Tabor. Like, you don't want to force your opponent to maybe kill it or not. This kind of house cheating, especially with some of these burst cards, can be really nasty. Okay, gets it in here somewhere. Ooh, plays it to just discard. So we drop one of the Amber Drakes and the last clipped wings. So now Ekil's going to have a few turns to be able to just run wild here, unless Varghast has a second in here somewhere, which hard to say if you're doing this play here, if that's what you're going for, or you just want to get your Drakes in the discard so that they're ready for the second in here somewhere. Ghoul keeping as well. Again, ghoul keeping not doing quite as much in this deck as we've seen it in some other ones. There's no Echo Flyer any way to rule of 6 that. Plays out the Mosquito. And Parabite for some capture and taxing. Does have the second in here somewhere, so very big turn here on the Geistoid side for Varghast. Might just take a clipped wings here. Possibly that and the Drake, but again, we'll see what Varghast goes for. It could be the Cauterize and the Drake, because that actually gives you a key in one turn. Or 4 Amber and possibly a key, I should say. Taking some time on this one, though. I think there's a lot of options here. It does go for Clipped Wings and Gift of Amber, so really just planning on that Dis Amber Drake coming down soon. And then just wants to have... Oh, doesn't take one of the Clipped Wings, so again, Ekil does have a chance here to actually get some archiving going. Because with both in here somewheres, we still have 2 more Junk Restorations, which are going to flip the deck pretty fast. But I gotta imagine with the Drake gone, the 2 in here somewheres gone, Varghast doesn't really want to go back into Geistoid very much. Really wants to get these Drakes going now. And I think this is probably not a deck you want to play De-Escalation against too much, because all those archives just make the turns bigger for Ekil. Ekil going into Logos, getting the Mind Over Matter there, and playing the Archivist first, so the Archivist now in the archives. All the clipped wings are gone for Varghast, so we'll see if Ekil can get his game plan going. We do see the disc call here. Again, picking up the cards he did makes it really look like, oh, helps to know where the house pips are, doesn't it? So we do get to play one of those Junk Restorations because it's got the disc pip on it. It does find our Amber Drake with no house on it. So one of our blue Amber Drakes. Looks like it's the disc one. And then plays the Gift of Amber with the Dust Imp there. So this is going to be a huge burst, going up to 8 and forging the key. Wait, is it 4 clipped wings? How did he get the clipped wings back? Did I miss? Oh, he got the clipped wings and the Gift of Amber. Sorry, I'm dumb. Alright, Ekil doing the Untamed thing here. Gonna possibly get a Key Frog key at least. Finish out the game. And there you go. Varghast taking down game 1. Getting the logs here quick. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be rough. I think for Ekil's deck, unfortunately, because it's a cool deck. I would love to see it do more, but very, very rough matchup for it with this one here. So let me get our score updated. 1-0 for Varghast so far. Looks like we lost Varghast on match, though. I'm back in. Might have to change our player positions here. Don't do this to me. Normally when someone gets dropped, you don't actually get to join back in, so. Oh, looks like it worked. Varghast is on top now. Dang it. All right, well, what the heck? Oh, that's weird. It is not giving me the normal space to put in player names. Okay, and then we've got our score up here is going to be 1, and then this is 0. Okay, so Ekil getting a much better start here, getting the Captain Valk Jericho going early, playing out the persistence hunting just for the Amber, using that house cheat even on turn 1, because that's how those house cheats work, which is kind of interesting. Guess I could make this a little bit smaller. That's okay. Okay, so stuff happening fast here. We've got the Shard of Resurgence from Varghast, and then we see Gift of Amber, Chauncey, and Wellstring grabbing the Gift of Amber, and then several things going on here for Ekil. We got the Biome Discovery to raise the tide. Again, no Hydro Catalogers down, so not getting too much value there. Theory Conjecture, as well as the Eddy getting some archives going, but uses the Theory Conjecture just to play a random card. Interesting. So just going to try and go for lots of cards played versus lots of cards archived here. I'm sure in other matchups you're playing those theories for archiving pretty much all the time. But just going to try to adapt to the matchup that he's been given here. Varghast has the shard, but I have to imagine that the games with this deck are usually faster than that's even very useful for. But I guess it really is some protection against like random discards and stuff if you lose one of your Drakes. Okay. Varghast going Equidon here. Reaping the Wild Wind reveals an Out-Negotiate to steal or to gain some Amber, and then also reveals the Key Frog from Ekil's side. So we know that's there. Plays the corner of the market after playing the Out-Negotiate. Still not in check though, actually, because of this Eddy. And that key cost is just going to go up now with Ekil only being able to discard / archive cards off this corner of the market. So just reaping here with the Star Alliance. Discards Grand Alliance Council to get it archived, and that's it though. So it doesn't really do too much there. So pretty good corner of the market there from Varghast, but not getting the key again because of that Eddy. All right, this turn. Let's see if this Clipped Wings number 1. It's tempting to purge here to try and hit that Key Frog now that you know that it's in hand. Do get a Cauterized Vitality, just taking out that Eddy to reduce the taxing. And then there's the Drake and the Dust Imp with the Gift of Amber. Gonna get tons of Amber here. Does kill the Val rather than the Dust Imp just to try and really slow down Ekil's deck as much as possible. Getting blue key 2 though, or key 1, and then going up to check for key 2. Ekil going into Logos. We'll see if he's got that second Eddy here. Plays the Archivist after the Eureka, so no idea what was archived off that Eureka. Discards the Bilge Warden, doesn't want to lose the tide. Or an archives here, but does give up that second key. Is at check himself. Varghast going quickly into Geistoid. Junk Restoration here, going to find the other blue Amber Drake, which is going to be the Equidon one. And then both the Fortune Reversers. So 3 Equidon cards there on the Junk Restoration. Tempting probably to just discard all of them. I guess you take that Amber Drake in case you have the de-escalation for next turn, because that basically just ends the game. Got the in here somewhere, which will also be, and there's all kinds of things you could take with this. Corner the market or the out negotiate. Yeah, okay. So that Equidon turn is going to be pretty big coming up. Plays this. Oh no. Yeah, plays the second in here somewhere. I mean, you don't really need too much else at this point. Fortune Reverser and Gift of Amber. It's going to be time to find out if Ekil's deck can actually forge 2 keys in one turn, but not going to be able to get key 1 because of the Parabyte. That's pretty brutal. And then we're going to see the Shard archiving probably in here somewhere at this point. Or just the Fortune Reverser. More Amber Pips just to ensure you have the Amber Drake key, even if Echo plays some extra taxing here. All right, Echo playing the Bilge Warden, Hydro Cataloger, Archivist, Mind Over Matter to archive everything, plays the Eddy, so is going to actually tax this for quite a bit, but again, those Fortune Reversers are just going to turn this off immediately, and then really comes down to if Varghast has a de-escalation, which archiving the way he did means he probably does, so I think this game is going to be a wrap, even faster than the last game we just watched. Unfortunately for Echo here. All right, out negotiate, gonna steal one, double Fortune Reverser. Doesn't have it, so Ekil has a chance. One turn to try and key frog twice. Let's see if they can do it. Double Chelonia, you don't really have a way of, well, you could Witch of the Dawn it. Let's see. I want to see if we can do some untamed nonsense here. We haven't gotten to see it do too much. Oh, can't do anything because of Corner of the Market. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Echo saying, glad he doesn't have the yellow Drake. Not that it's really going to matter here, but yeah, there's the discarding the Grand Alliance Council, and that is the game. So yeah, well played to both, but just unfortunate there for Ekil. Pretty rough matchup, but this is also a very, very nasty deck. Really interested to see. You know, this has been something we've thought about in Alliance since Amber Skies really came out or was announced, is what these blue amber or these amber drakes could do. But round 1, they did their stuff. So Varghast still saying DT best set, even though it just got a little bit run over, but that's okay. It does have some fun stuff. We'll see what that other DT deck can do. Am I right on that? That I know there's a second one. I just can't remember if they played or not. Been a lot of games this week, and thankfully there's been coverage for everything, which is super, super awesome. The other one is Sneck. Yeah, Sneck and Joni. I don't think that one has happened yet. Yeah, that's going to be later today. So very excited to see that one as well. That's the one that that one I think has that OTK potential with the United Action. It still takes a little bit of, well, if you get lucky, I think it can happen turn 1 because it has the potential for getting some of the other houses down, but normally it takes a turn or 2 to get stuff on the board so you have all houses represented for the United Action. But yeah, stay tuned for those. I think there's a couple more matches happening today. Let's see. We've got that one happening in about 6 hours, a little less than 6 hours. And then we've got, oh, just one more. Oh, is that our last match? That might be our last match. Yeah, I believe it is. So never mind. That is our last one. That'll be happening in just a few hours. So stay tuned for that. That is going to be on Captain Gale's channel again. Big thanks to Captain Gale, especially. First time he's been doing streams like this and doing a great job picking up a lot of these games. So very excited to have him on. But I think that is going to do it for us. Thank you all for hanging out and watching. Congrats to Varghast. We'll see you in round 2. Take care, everybody. We'll see you later.